Krishna's Deceit. King Kalyavana had performed several penances and obtained a boon from Lord Shiva that he could not be killed by any Yadava. Lord Krishna knew that he could not kill Kalyavana because of Lord Shiva's boon and decided to kill him through trickery. When Kalyavana came after him, he pretended fear and ran away from the battlefield, but Kalyavana followed him like a shadow. "Why are you running away, you coward?" shouted Kalyavana. But Lord Krishna did not stop. Running on and on, Krishna led Kalyavana into a cave where a king named Muchukunda was sleeping soundly. As soon as Krishna went near him, he took off his yellow silk garment and laid it over the sleeping king. "This cowherd is now hiding in the cave," thought Kalyavana, and he came inside the cave. He couldn't believe his eyes when he saw Krishna sleeping inside. King Muchukunda. Kalyavana followed Lord Krishna to the cave in the mountain and saw a man lying asleep, clad with the yellow silk garment. Kalyavana thought that coward Krishna is avoiding a fight by sleeping. He kicked the sleeping man, assuming him to be Lord Krishna. This man was King Muchukunda, who had been sleeping there for a long time. King Muchukunda ruled the earth during the Krita Yuga and had helped the gods in the battle against demons. Then Kartik, son of Lord Shiva, took over as the general of the army of the gods. King Muchukunda had not slept for many years, as he often fought against the demons to protect the gods in heaven. He was very tired, but the earth had changed so much during the period. Thousands of years had elapsed, and there was no one on earth that King Muchukunda could relate to. Kalyavana and Muchukunda. King Muchukunda wanted to attain moksha, salvation, for the services he offered to the gods. The gods said, "We want to help you, but we are incapable of granting moksha, as it could only be granted by Lord Vishnu." So King Muchukunda asked the gods to grant him the boon of sleep, and whoever disturbed his sleep should be instantaneously reduced to ashes. The gods granted Muchukunda the boon and showed him a cave where he could rest. So King Muchukunda slept in the cave on earth through Satyug, Treta Yug and Dwapar Yug. When Kalyavana kicked Muchukunda, he opened his eyes and rays of fire emanated from his eyes. At once, Kalyavana turned into ashes. King Muchukunda, who was now fully awake, was blessed with the rare sighting as Lord Krishna appeared before the king in the form of Vishnu. The king was granted moksha for his devotion. Thus, Lord Krishna's plan of destroying another demon succeeded. Rukmini and Rukmini. Bhishmaka, the king of Vidarbha, had two children, Prince Rukmini and Princess Rukmini. He had heard many stories of Lord Krishna's valor and secretly wished him to be his son-in-law. Bhishmaka knew that it might not be possible, as Kansa's father-in-law Jarasandha was their overlord and Lord Krishna was his sworn enemy. In fact, Prince Rukmini was a friend of Kansa and hated Krishna since Kansa's death. He wanted his younger sister Rukmini to marry Shishupal, the crown prince of Chedi, who also was favoured by Jarasandha. Bhishmaka had to agree with Rukmini and decided to marry his daughter to Shishupal. But Princess Rukmini had heard stories of Lord Krishna's valor since her childhood, and she had her heart set on marrying Lord Krishna. When she learned that her brother had chosen Shishupal for her, she resolved with determination, "I will marry only Lord Krishna or give up my life." But Rukmini refused to get his sister married to Krishna. Rukmini's note. Princess Rukmini did not want to marry Shishupal, the groom chosen by her brother Rukmini. She was in love with Lord Krishna. So she sent her trusted friend Sunanda to Lord Krishna with a note. The note said, "My lord, I already consider you my husband. If you won't marry me, I will surely give up my life. Please do come and take me away." Rukmini wrote that on the day of the wedding, she would go to the temple of goddess Parvati, and if he desired so, that was the right time to kidnap her. She also begged him to spare the lives of her family while kidnapping her. Thus, Sunanda went to Dwarka, Lord Krishna's new fortress, home with the note. Lord Krishna had heard a lot about Rukmini's beauty too. He longed to marry her but wasn't sure if he should approach her family as they owed their allegiance to Jarasandha. Lord Krishna marries Princess Rukmini. Upon receiving a message from Rukmini, Lord Krishna vowed to kidnap her, but Jarasandha knew that Krishna and Rukmini wished to marry each other. So he brought his men to Vidarbha as a precaution. Lord Krishna went to Vidarbha first and Balram followed with the army. On the wedding day, when Rukmini was leaving the temple, she searched for Krishna in the crowd but did not see him. As she was leaving in her chariot, she felt someone held her from behind. It was Lord Krishna. "I have come for you, my love," he said as he lifted her into the chariot and sped away. Jarasandha's men followed Lord Krishna but were defeated by Balram's army. Prince Rukmini tried to stop Lord Krishna but could not. Lord Krishna spared Rukmini's life but cut half the hair on his head and half the moustache on his face and then let him go. Then Lord Krishna returned to Dwarka with Rukmini and made her his bride. Krishna's cousins. Lord Krishna's 5 cousins, the Pandavas, had a kingdom named Indraprasth. The eldest of them, Yudhishthir, wanted to perform the Rajya Suya Yajna. He went to Lord Krishna and said, "For the Rajya Suya Yajna, a king has to be declared an emperor and all the surrounding kingdoms have to recognize him as their overlord. I have no choice but to defeat Jarasandha and obtain the title of emperor. Please help me, Krishna." Lord Krishna said, "Send Bhim, the second Pandava, and Arjun, the third Pandava, to Magadha, dressed up like Brahmins. They should challenge Jarasandha for a wrestling bout." Thus Bhim and Arjun reached Magadha. When they challenged Jarasandha, he did not believe them to be the Brahmins as they had well-built physique. "Who are you?" he yelled at them. Much to Jarasandha's shock, Lord Krishna also came. "Pick an opponent, Jarasandha. We have come to fight you," said Lord Krishna, and he revealed Bhim's and Arjun's identities. Bhim and Jarasandha. Bhim and Arjun challenged Jarasandha as per Lord Krishna's instructions. But Jarasandha said, "Krishna, I will not fight you as you are a cowherd. You don't even match my dignity and status. I refuse to fight Arjun as he is too young, but I will surely fight with Bhim as he seems to be a worthy opponent." Jarasandha offered Bhim a large club and went out of the city. When Bhim's and Jarasandha's clubs struck together, it sounded like thunderbolts in a storm. After their clubs were broken, the two angrily hit each other with iron-hard fists. Thus, Bhim and Jarasandha fought for 27 days as both of them were equally matched, only stopping at the end of each day to live as friends in Jarasandha's palace at night. On the 28th day, Bhim almost gave up and looked up to Lord Krishna for help. Only he knew how Jarasandha could be killed. Jarasandha's death. Lord Krishna noticed that Bhim was not able to defeat Jarasandha and called him aside. He told Bhim a secret about Jarasandha's birth. Jarasandha was born in 2 halves from 2 mothers. Seeing that the baby was useless, his father threw the 2 parts into the forest. These were found by a demoness named Jara. She managed to join the 2 halves and brought Jarasandha to life. When the fight continued, Lord Krishna picked a twig up, broke it in 2 halves and threw the 2 halves far away from each other. This indicated that Jarasandha could be killed by reversing the manner in which he was born. Bhim grabbed hold of Jarasandha's legs and split his body into 2. He then threw them far away from each other so that they might not be joined again. After Jarasandha's death, Lord Krishna put Jarasandha's son upon the throne. Then he released all the kings and the princes who had been imprisoned by Jarasandha. Shishupal's grudge. The Rajya Suya Yajna, started by the Pandavas, was on the verge of completion. The last rite was to confer honors upon the kings who had participated in the Yajna. Before starting this, it was customary to worship the best participant according to the manner prescribed in the religious scriptures. Yudhishthir decided to consult all the kings present there. Sahadev, ruler of Magadha, proposed the name of Lord Krishna as he made him king. Most of the kings and the Brahmins seconded the proposal. After the rituals of the Rajasuya Yajna were over, Yudhishthir told Lord Krishna, "As per Bhishma Pitama's advice, I wish to give you these offerings as a mark of respect." Just then, Shishupal, the king of Chedi, caught up from his seat and voiced his displeasure at Lord Krishna, a mere cowherd being honored first. Shishupal had an old grudge against Krishna because he had married Rukmini, whom he wanted to marry. He went on calling Lord Krishna names and insulting him. Shishupal insults Lord Krishna. Shishupal opposed the worship of Lord Krishna as the best participant in the Rajasuya Yajna. He used disgraceful words for him, suggesting that either Bhishma Pitama or Guru Dronacharya should be the candidates for worship, but these two elderly participants had already supported Lord Krishna's candidature. The fight over the choice of the rightful candidate for worship was not coming to an end, as Shishupal and his supporters were dead against the worship of Lord Krishna. The Pandavas were furious at Shishupal's behavior and threatened him to stop fighting. But Lord Krishna stopped them and said, "Shishupal is my cousin, the son of my father's sister, Satyavati. I would have killed him, but his mother had requested me to pardon him. I won't say or do anything until he has used at least 100 disgraceful terms for me. Now I warn him to come to the right path," but this did not stop Shishupal from insulting Lord Krishna. The story of Shishupal's birth. Uddhav, Lord Krishna's charioteer, asked him, "How will the atrocities of Shishupal end?" Lord Krishna said, "Shishupal was born with 3 eyes and 4 arms. When he was born, a heavenly voice predicted that if he sat on a person's lap and his extra eye and arms would disappear, then that man would be responsible for Shishupal's end. Long ago, when I visited my aunt Satyavati, Shishupal was an infant. I took him from the cradle and sat down with him on my lap. At that moment, his extra eye and arms disappeared. Then my aunt made me promise that I would pardon Shishupal 100 times before I killed him. She also wanted that a son should go to heaven after death. I had agreed to fulfill both her wishes. Thus, Lord Krishna remained quiet at Shishupal's insults at the Rajasuya Yajna. Shishupal meets with his end. Lord Krishna had promised his aunt that he would pardon Shishupal's 100 mistakes, but not beyond that. During Yudhishthir's Rajasuya Yajna, Shishupal had crossed that line. Lord Krishna told Uddhav, "I warned Shishupal, but he is bent upon meeting with his end, and I am helpless." Saying this, Lord Krishna wielded his Sudarshan Chakra and directed it at Shishupal. It severed his neck from the rest of his body and returned to Krishna's hand. Everyone present there was frightened as Lord Krishna had assumed his divine form of Virat Roop. They prayed that he calm down. So he came to his normal form and became calm as before. Lord Krishna had cut his finger while wielding his Sudarshan Chakra. Seeing this, the wife of Pandavas, Draupadi, came to his rescue by tearing off a small piece of a sari and wrapping it around his finger. Lord Krishna promised her to repay her loan of kindness in the future. Lord Krishna's wives. Lord Krishna's palace in Dwarka was adorned with the presence of his several wives. Among them, 8 were his chief wives or Ashta Bharyas. They were Rukmini, Jambavati, Satyabhama, Kalindi, Mitravinda, Nagnajiti, Bhadra, and Lakshmana. The remaining women belonged to the demon king named Naraka Bhaumasur. He had held them captive until Lord Krishna killed him. When Krishna asked the women to return to their houses, they refused. "Please marry us, Lord Krishna, we cannot go back home now," they cried. So Krishna married them all at the same auspicious time, assuming several forms. He did this so that they might gain the status of married women and live in the society with honor again. Lord Krishna constructed a palace with huge gardens for each of them. In fact, it was impossible to live with each of them, so he created several forms of himself so that he might treat them all in the same manner as his 8 chief wives. Lord Krishna's wife Rukmini was his main consort or Patrani. She was also very humble and pious. Rukmini's father, King Bhishmaka and brother Rukmini wanted her to marry Shishupal. However, she was so in love with Krishna and he with her that he stole her away on her wedding day and took her to Dwarka, where they got married. Since Rukmini was the incarnation of goddess Lakshmi, she wanted to be with her husband Lord Vishnu. Once, Lord Krishna and Rukmini invited sage Durvasa to dinner. It is well known that the host should not eat until the guest has been satisfied. But Rukmini became very thirsty. Krishna put his foot in the ground and the Ganges waters flowed out. As Rukmini was drinking water, Durvasa saw her and cursed her to live apart from Lord Krishna. The curse was so strong that even now Lord Krishna's temple is in the town of Dwarka, while Rukmini's temple is outside the town.
Thanks for watching. Do like, share, subscribe to Sahil Book House.